What if I start trading tomorrow?
Alright guys, welcome to Entertainment for Us once more for our political reaction. We always do two stuffs, and of course today it will be a short one. I've taken a lot of time on the social reaction, so I'll not take a lot of time here. So of course yesterday Winny Odinga was on Citizen with Okwara, is it? And there is a lot of questions people wanted to have her share. Her opinion about ODM currently, her opinion about her mother's position, whether she asked for a job from Ruto during her father's burial or not, why she stood in Kibra recently saying wengine wanamtisha na hata kubali kutishwa, when she said that there are those who actually are selling the party. So all those questions were raised on her, and she was very intelligent. When you come to how she kept answering this, even though there's a point where she looked like she was faltering, especially when she was asked on what is her thought about whether Oburu Odinga is the rightful leader for ODM. She said that currently, yes, as an acting, but then when the NDC, whatever, is done, then they are supposed to pick younger people. And I was like, of course, she was just indirectly trying to say that the current leadership of Buru is not right. She was trying to say there are no fracas in the family. Of course, Oburu is, and Odingas, generally they are one tight family. And therefore, there are no fractures. That is what she tried to say. At some point, she said that this guy, Saleh, she said that Saleh is supposed to be in either Madare or DCI, which means that he's supposed to be investigated, because according to him, he knows Saleh, but she doesn't actually know him as somebody who was around the father when the father died. According to Winnie, the father died in her presence and not Saleh. And now the photos we see around, we wonder, does it mean it was a different visitation, or what exactly does that imply? Okay. Winnie actually gave a lot of answers when she was asked on the position of her mother, the UNEP position. She said she's very proud about her mother being picked. She said her mother was actually walked out of teaching long ago and began to do civic education, democracy, teaching on democracy and all that, so she deserves that position. She was also asked whether during the funeral, when she was actually indicating that she's now ready to come back home, whether that was asking for a job, and she said no, but I felt like at that point she was not genuine actually, because even personally, in my critical thinking, I thought when she said that statement, she was indicating that the president should not forget their family. She can actually come and replace the father somehow. That's what I thought, at least. I also heard her saying that there are specific people who are attacking, or rather threatening, individuals. Edward Mutoto, hello, welcome. And so when I heard about that, she was indicating that there are particular people who are threatening individuals who come in her meetings, like the meetings she has held in different places with the youth. So I said, who are these? Because she did not point out, but she said pointing out names would be very risky for now, to either the people who are being threatened or something like that. I was like, all right, so what does this mean? Who is this threatened about her moves? Now, she also said that people are free to say whatever they say, including Sifuna and any other party member. And she was also asked about Gladys Wanga, her opinion on her. She said she's trying. I think that is one part where I really didn't understand why she said that Gladys Wanga is trying in her best, because that is a position that a woman has taken at that point, and it has a lot of challenges. I was like, what exactly are you trying to avoid? Like at the end of the interview, so many people felt like she was avoiding some questions and was quite focused to make sure that she doesn't answer some of the questions. Of course, at some point she told the journalist that she was getting too personal and asking a lot of personal questions, which are ridiculous to answer. And at some point, of course, she said that ODM will have a candidate in 2027, and that the decision actually to support the current government is not part of them, because for them, they believe in supporting the youth. She indicated that the gaps in ODM currently is that they need to embrace the young people and they need to move with the ground, like the people have the word. She was asked whether, if given a position, she would take it. If the government currently gives her a position, will she take it? And she said she will go back to the people and ask. I was like, really? Seriously? If your mother has accepted the UNEP position, how else are you actually coming out to tell us that if given, you will have to ask the people? Because she said if given a position she just takes, it will be controversial. Punitive kind of, she said. So let's just check on the interview. Yeah, so I think a lot of people are actually expecting a lot from Winnie in that interview. They were really awaiting for that interview. And of course, as I've shared already what I remember, I took a whole moment to watch the full video. And that's why I can clearly remember what she said. I can clearly remember what she said in most of the parts. But let me just play some parts of it, because as I said, I'm not planning to take a long video currently. So we'll be skipping some points.
I finished university, I came back, and for the last 15 years I've worked at his side. No matter the dispensation. And, well, we're similar in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways we were different. And one of the things is that we used to challenge each other, and we used to test each other and push each other, but I think what I missed more than anything is the honesty. So some of me is him, some of me is my mother, and some of me is just me.
Yeah, yes. And you talk about being similar. What ideologies or principles do you share, and in what ways, like you said, you challenged each other? In what ways did you have separate ideas or ideals?
I wouldn't say we had separate ideas or ideals. We may disagree on a method, but we always agreed on the end goal. But when we talk of ideology, social justice, providing platforms for people who have been marginalized, space for young people, allowing people to say what they want even if we didn't agree. There's no ideology he had that I think I had different. Mm-hmm. Maybe we would disagree on speed or time, but we never disagreed fundamentally. Yes.
There've been many contestations, I think, since your father's passing, about who spoke last with Raila Odinga, what he said to them, and this is something you've weighed in on recently. Now, without going into very deeply personal conversations that you had with your father, but what can you tell us about your last conversations with Raila Odinga?
Well, Yvonne, just as you said, they were deeply personal, and I feel it would be disrespectful of me to share those personal conversations that I had in private with the public. Not every conversation we had was for public consumption. Sometimes it was just my dad, and the night before he passed, we sat in his room for 2 hours discussing everything. So I feel that there are very many people, and when we come to politics, we'll discuss that, who may now say that the party leader may have said this and that, and I feel it's not incumbent on them to now bring that into the forefront, whether they believe it or not. I think it's lacking a sense of occasion. I think it's disrespectful to the departed, and I don't think that it would be appropriate for me to discuss that.
Thank you for being with us here. We have much more to talk about with you, Winny Odinga. Like you said, there's much to talk.
Some days I'm in a valley, but if I make it to a plateau, I'm doing all right. But we soldier on. I've got a good support system in my family. We're quite close and together, and we're supporting each other. Yes.
And how's the family doing?
My family,
so far as you can tell us, yeah.
as well as we can. Everybody's sort of settling into their new roles, new responsibilities. But I believe this has brought us even closer. We meet almost every day. We talk all the time, and so we're all trying our best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. From what we could see, Winny, you were quite close with your father, quite a bit.
Yes.
Could you talk to us about your relationship with your father?
Excuse me.
Take your time.
It's quite a difficult topic for me to discuss. We had a very complex relationship. He was my father. He was my party leader. He was my mentor. But he was also my closest friend. And coping with this difficult time without him has been quite difficult, yes. That's a very difficult question to answer. But ever since I finished university, I came back, and for the last 15 years, I've worked
about a wide range of issues. Winny, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you. Thanks for...
It's quite difficult living in a world without him. But take it day by day. I call it that some days I'm on a hill, some days I'm in a valley. But if I make it to a plateau, I'm doing all right. But we soldier on. I've got a good support.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for you. It allows you to focus on your meetings.
Of loyalty. It would not be incumbent on me, or Winny Odinga would be the last person that at his age of 82 years would allow his image or his legacy to be besmirched by a political tug of war. What some may seem as perhaps antagonism is actually protection, in my view. And we are very happy with him being in the position that he is. And after seeing the manner of how some people are behaving, he's certainly the best person in that position.
Even though that was not procedural, as you've just said?
The procedure is still being done, as I've told you. They are still acting until the NDC is done. So the party must do the correct thing, agreement. So he put that date so that at that point we would review how far are we on the issue of social justice, on anti-corruption, and all the other 8 points. And then we review our terms based on that. And I feel as the maybe asking the wrong question, asking Winnie if she loves her uncle or not. The question you should be asking, on point number 1, where have we reached? On point 2, where have we reached? Because this was a social contract with the people of Kenya. Therefore, if you trash it and you have not completed it, then on what basis are you negotiating for the people of Kenya, of the people of ODM? On what? You promised them something. It cannot be trashed simply because Raila Odinga died. On what basis are you negotiating? That is the basis. The 10-point agenda is the basis. I'm from the same script on that page.
Okay. I'd like us to talk about some of those, the members of the leadership, and indeed many who have talked about conversations they've had.
And that was a very traumatic experience for me. But at least he died with somebody he knew loved him. And I believe people need to take better care of their loved ones. And mental health is a really important thing. When you live here and you go on Thika Road, there are two options. You either turn right as you're going to Mathare, or you turn left and you're going to DCI. Because a flat out lie that you were there at the time of my father's death and you were not, and talking things that did not occur, is quite dangerous. It makes me question a lot of things. What would be those intentions? So I believe they're just two places that should be rushed with immediate effect, one or the other.
I'd like us to talk about...
And there are those who get in positions of power, and when they get there, it's my turn to eat, and they want to eat everything. And they've got a scarcity mindset. I don't come from a scarcity mindset. I don't have that mindset. I chose the people. I went to school, I did what I had to do. Having had to suspend my morning because I see that what is going on with the people is not necessarily right. It cannot be centered on shenanigans and wrangled. The only conversation the leadership of ODM should be having now is the well-being of the people of Kenya. A year and a half to elections, you want to enter a football match, you don't even know if the referee has a whistle or if he has boots.
What is the one thing you will be saying there? And let's assume the deadline of, the agreement, March 2026, has come and gone. ODM and UADA in an election pact, a coalition. Do you think this?
Yes, I believe, especially because they're quite religious leaning. And those are some of the things that we are taught about in Christianity, in Islam, and they're more of a conservative party. I do believe they want the best for Kenyans.
It's
The global AI market is projected to reach $1,770 billion by
feedback.
We've had a situation where countries have come in, some who don't use common law, some use Sharia law, some don't speak French, and therefore the parliament has been caught up in a lot of bureaucracy, teething issues, instead of being able to have certain things. I personally, in my capacity, have been pushing for issues around tech, digital literacy, digital penetration, and online safety. And when I say digital, it's not just giving people a computer. The use of digital in every aspect, the use of digital in agriculture, smart farming, smart fishing, the use of digital in just young people being allowed to go on TikTok and make something to eat for the day. The use of digital in all these spaces that, as you've seen, even recently, some may feel they need to make that space smaller. And so therefore that's what I have done in my capacity. And in terms of the effectiveness of this parliament, unfortunately, the parliament has been grounded for almost close to 2 years because it's unable to fund itself.
Let's take another question now. This is from Samson Kamau Nyeri in Nyeri. If ODM does not field a presidential candidate in 2027, will that not totally weaken the party?
Yes, I agree with Samson. Yeah. Point of a party is to be competitive. Point of the party is to have people in positions of power. For what reason would you not have a presidential candidate? The party has 8 million members. Are we saying there's not one that is fit enough to run for president? We have always fielded a presidential candidate. And so I agree with Samson. That has potential to weaken the party.
Yeah, that would be a key,
if it's mandate in an open manner. For example, our party leader died. The party has not once come and addressed us as members to inform us our party leaders died. They've picked a new team. The party has not once come to address and tell us they have picked a new team. Period. We were all caught in a shock, and he's steadying the ship. This is not a very easy ship to steady. He's weathering the storm, and he has said it very many times that he's acting transitionally and will make space for other young people.
All right, so those are part of what Winnie actually expressed, and of course you've just heard. It's exactly what I had interpreted from my understanding. And of course, some of the things she came to reveal are things that people really wanted to hear about ODM, about Oburu Odinga, about the mother, about her own expectations, and what people feel about ODM party and 2027. Of course, the Citizen played very many videos in relation to what she said somewhere, and she was able to say what she meant. Of course, in some situations, we felt like she was trying to avoid to actually address whatever we wanted to hear, but it is what it is. Now, let's come to listen to the United Opposition and their address today. And then we'll be coming to an end of this. Of course, I said today we are not going to a long video. We're just doing some reflection of what is going on. Analysis, political analysis, that is.
Issues so that they can be looked into and we can end up having free and fair elections. Let me end there, and one of my colleagues can highlight the issues.
Well, we were very candid. As Mother said, we were not happy with the process. We started by telling them the perception out there is that this is a William Ruto commission, and we gave them the opportunity to prove us wrong. Not us, the whole country. So we were able to raise issues. We have said it openly, that we are very unhappy with the procurement process of the KIMS kits, the discredited Smartmatic organization, discredited worldwide. As you all know by now, the Carmagos and others, and what has happened in Venezuela recently. So they have to give us demonstrable outcomes. So we've agreed we are going to work together and have some technical teams working together in a very transparent, open manner. We reminded them, some of us are seasoned, will come out again here on behalf of the country and Kenyans if they do not deliver on what we have agreed. But we have decided to give them a chance, an opportunity. We clearly are very unhappy with the CEO. We made it clear to them. Let us see what they are going to do.
FOMO? We say no more FOMO. Not when you have happy hour. Scroll.
I think of great significance, which we need to emphasize, is this. Whatever this, we are, the process that brought this commission on board and so on. But through this, we've had a cordial conversation. And they are public servants. In my own honest view, I've observed that there's a very... and for the first time, we have agreed today, there are several lawyers who are here, we have institutionalized our interaction with them. So they can go through all those issues that we raised, blow by blow, and we will have another meeting to go through these issues. As long as a public and constitutional institution like this one is ready, willing, and available to engage, and as Kenyan leaders, because we are interested in the stability of the country, we are interested in the future of the country, and they are willing to engage us as we go forward. One of us said something very critical, which I need to emphasize here, that as long as they demonstrate and continue to show good faith as we move forward, we will continue to work with them, because this is important for us, important for the country. ultimately important for the stability. There isn't an issue we did not raise. Out with the press, because we are dealing with public issues. These are not private matters. That document will be available and we will avail it to the public of all the issues that we raised: procurement, security, management of the by-elections, the ecosystem within which we are now preparing for elections. And they are promised us also that they are preparing a national conference on elections 2027. And we said, fair enough, if they are going to be open and engage clearly on these issues, we also responsibility. We are pointing out these issues, but we have a citizenship responsibility to do our bit to ensure that we contribute and work with them to deliver a credible election and an election that will guarantee our country's stability, because that is what we are looking forward to. I think that's all we can say at the moment, unless my colleague Eugene wants to say one thing.
I think just to add that many Kenyans are very concerned that we're entering an election year. We've just had by-elections that had a lot of issues. I was a victim of violence with my candidate in Malava, the Honorable Panyako. We raised all these issues with them as to why no action has been taken. And today we want to say that they have told us they're only 3 months into the job, but they are preparing to do better in the next elections. We have demanded that we must have a roadmap, an election timetable that will be open and transparent, and that will be able to engage the opposition quarterly to address the issues. And as we say this, we are also, as the Honorable Kalonzo said, concerned about the technology, particularly the Venezuelan technology that is discredited through a whistleblower who raised the issues in America. This same technology was used recently in Uganda. The Kim's kit failed in Uganda. We do not want to see a similar election in Kenya. So there are serious issues of concern we have raised, and we believe they will address. All we are need for is goodwill and confidence building through a roadmap that we will be engaging quarterly with them. Thank you very much.
I think we have had a very good engagement, and very solid promise that they'll engage with us and they'll look at the issues, and we have told them we'll continue engaging as long as there's good faith. And we have asked them in the coming by-elections to address the issues of goonism and insecurity that was witnessed in the last by-elections. This will enable us to confirm that they have good faith. They have agreed that there were issues where goons took over polling stations, where cabinet secretaries took over polling stations and not had results. We have raised all those issues. But we'll see. With the coming by-elections, we'll be able to see whether there is demonstrable good faith. And if that happens, then we'll continue engaging. But of course, if there isn't, because we cannot allow anybody to bangle the election, there is an option of mass action. We hope we will not get there. And we have told the commissioners on behalf of the people of Kenya, it's very emotive, and they need to prepare adequately, and they need to gain the confidence of the people of Kenya.
All right, guys, so that is the opposition speaking or addressing the nation currently on matters election, and that is the Electoral Commission of Kenya. Of course, we've been hearing of a lot of issues, some of which we have observed, and we have been so concerned, especially when we are addressing critical analysis. We've been talking about goonism as a very negative aspect that do not even, somehow it doesn't affect the politicians, it affects the citizens, it affects the economy, and if it affects the future of us, because the security matters are actually slowly drained into when you tend to hire goons. Away from that, of course, the IEBC itself came out yesterday indicating they have no adequate funds to run the election. So that is a concern I've not heard the opposition talking about. The opposition have just talked about the use of incredible tool, that is the Kim's kits, which have failed in Uganda and Venezuela, with the whistleblower having shared that from America. And then we have the aspect of course, the kind of behaviors we saw in the by-elections, which were so bad in Bere and Malava, among other places. We hope that these things will not be there, because actually election is supposed to be a peaceful process, because it's just a transition. Somebody loses, somebody gains, somebody gets in, somebody gets out, which is a normal thing that we should teach our children. Election is not a do or die thing. So hoping for the best as we wait for more. We will be talking about other aspects tomorrow. Adios.